The second deadliest mistake that you can make is not becoming a secured creditor on larger accounts. Let me explain. Have you ever received a bankruptcy notice, and have you noticed that there were hundreds or thousands of unsecured creditors, but there's typically only a handful of secured creditors? The secured creditors typically have a much better shot at getting paid, while the unsecured creditors are at the bottom of the proverbial food chain. Have you ever wondered what the difference is? Well, I'm about to tell you, and it's a lot easier than you think. All the secured creditor does is they file a UCC1 form with the courthouse. This form acts as a mortgage on the business, and if you look at it as a mortgage on a house, it works similarly, but it's the first one who files as the first lien holder, the second one to file as the second lien holder, and so on. The debtor must sign these UCC1 forms, or you must have a signed contract that gives you permission to file one unsigned. A secured creditor is not just treated differently in bankruptcy court, they are treated as first-class creditors in many other ways as well. For example, if a company goes to sell its assets to another business, they could in fact sell their assets and none of their liabilities. And this would mean that the unsecured creditor would not get paid by the new owners, and the old owner would be on vacation enjoying their money. This is called a bulk sale transfer, and it's illegal in a few states, but it's legal in most. This is, in my opinion, a legal way to steal. But if you were a secured creditor, they would have had to have paid you off first because they could not have sold the assets that you had a lien or an interest in. Also, if a company owes you a large sum of money and they run past due, you can in essence foreclose on that UCC1 filing and take over all of the assets and none of the liabilities. The only obligation you would have would be to other secured creditors that were ahead of you. But if you were the first lien holder, you could simply take over the assets, sell them off, make yourself whole, and then you would have to leave the funds over to the secondary creditors and unsecured creditors. Banks are an absolute master at this, and I can assure you, if you have a credit line at your bank or if you use a funding payroll company, they have a UCC1 filing at the courthouse on you and your business. A few words of caution on a UCC1 filing. It's not an absolute guarantee that you'll get all of your money. For example, if a company owes you $1 million and they only have $250,000 in assets, you would still lose $750,000 even if you were the first lien holder. If you were the second lien holder, unfortunately you wouldn't get a dime. But I assure you, the use of a UCC1 filing will greatly improve your credit risk and your management of those risks. Let's review the items again. To be a secured creditor, you have to have a UCC1 form filed with the courthouse in your debtor's county, not in your county, but in the debtor's county in which the business resides.